Game for You here, and today we are going to take a look at a project that I've been working on for about a month now, and it is the GameSpeed mod that I've created. It is heavily inspired by TickSpeed mods, but yeah, I've also fixed a few issues that really annoyed me in the newest version 1.13.2. Mainly the bug to do with pistons disappearing, and also the annoying fact that even in the single player world piston animations can look really glitchy, and in most cases they will look terrible. So yeah, those are the issues that I've fixed, and yeah, so let's just turn on the mod here. You can do that in mod settings. I'm later going to show you also how to install the mod, by the way, so don't worry about that. But here, you see that all of a sudden this wall of pistons looks way better, and this is just normal speed. You see, what GameSpeed mod does is that it actually enables you to change the tick speed to, let's say, 10 TPS, which is half the normal one. The default is 20. And now it'll be half as fast. You can also change it using your keyboard. And suddenly you can see that the animation looks very clean, like so. Now, what I'm going to demonstrate now is the difference between my mod and a vanilla. So first of all, I'm syncing the server with the client, so that whenever the client ticks, the server will also tick. I'm only doing this whenever you change the TPS though. Now the reason for this is that pistons will look very bad if you don't do that. The animations will sort of jump a little, and that was something that I figured out whilst making this mod. So if we just slow this down, with all the settings turned on, it will look like this. You can see it looks very, very good. Now we can also go in here, we can turn off the TPS label up here in the top left corner. You can see there's a TPS label. It's very useful for debugging and knowing when your game runs slow. That's why I always have turned on. This call moving blocks thing is actually something to do with transparency and moving blocks. It'll also work with slime blocks and other transparent blocks. If we just slow down the game here and turn this on, you can see here that the block actually has a back face that is also being rendered. So if we turn this on, this call moving blocks here, you can see that that actually disappears. It is very subtle, but it is actually something that may improve the look of your doors. There's also this, which is smooth pistons. You can see that changes the animation. What it does is actually removes the pause that you saw right there at the beginning of the animation. You see there's a little pause and a little pause. So smooth pistons will simply remove that. Now the shift sound pitch, I'm sure you can hear what that does. Yeah. Shifting sound pitch is actually very useful when doing videos where you have like slow-mo shots and so on, because you can take the entire video in slow motion and then you can speed it up in post-processing, and it will just sound as if it were recorded in full speed. Now, if you do decide to use my mod on videos, I will definitely want you to credit me, at least in the description, or maybe even say where you got the mod from in the video description. I'm sure people may also ask where you got it from. But other than that, you are free to use it, as long as you leave a link to this video in the video description, and of course my channel as well. Okay, so let's just show an example of what you could use this mod for. So here we have the 4x4 Thunderbolt, or Lightning Bolt I should say, by Digo the Redstoner. And it opens in 150 milliseconds. And it even lags my game a little, as you can see. But now, if we were to enable the tick-speed mod and just slow down the game, it will look way better, as you can see. And basically in post-processing, we would be able to speed this up. And that would probably look something like this. So yeah, that was actually recorded in slow motion there, but I guess you didn't really notice, did you? But yeah, that's some of the things that you can use this mod for. Yeah, in the following segments I'm gonna show you how to install it. It is working for the version 1.13.2. It is not a Forge mod, as well, Forge hasn't actually been released for this version. So it is coded in obfuscated code, which is why it took a long time to make. And yeah, so if you already know how to install the mods, I still even suggest that you take a look at it, because it is a little bit different than it used to be. It has changed a little bit in 1.13. And yeah, I'm also going to show you how to install on servers, so you can play using this mod on servers using the 6-speed or the game speed mod. Now, one thing I should mention is that if you plan on using this mod on servers that do not have the mod installed, you can actually do that. It is an option that is, yeah, it is doable, but I suggest you be careful, because changing your client tick speed will also make you move faster, as you can see here, or slower. So yeah, you should be careful when doing that. Also, the controls you see I'm using here, you can increment or decrement and increment the speed. If you hold sneak, you can do it by half a tick at a time. You can also double and half the TPS. Now that is done using the controls, which you can see in here at the bottom. These are the default settings. I just have them flipped here down here because, yeah, I don't actually know why, but yeah, you can use those controls if you want. Yeah, I think that's about what there is to show about this game speed mod. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any issues with it, just leave them down in the comments. And yeah, now I'm gonna show you how to install it. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so next up I'm going to show you how to install the mod. The first thing you'll have to make sure of is that you've run version 1.13.2 at least once. So you can do that by either selecting the latest release in here, 1.13.2, or if it's not the latest release, then you can create a new launch configuration where you select it in here and just name it something and save it and run it at least once. Now, once you've done that, you can close this launcher, and you'll be able to find a link in the video description for the client mod zip file. I'll leave a link down there for that. So, also you'll need some way of opening this file. You can do that by using WinRAR for Windows, as I've done here. You'll be able to download that from the internet by just searching Google WinRAR download, and I'm sure, I can promise you, there is a free version out there somewhere. Now, when you open this file, you'll see something that looks a little like this. All these class files are what make the mod actually work. Now we'll have to transfer this into the game jar that runs the game. So we'll not be needing this just yet. Instead, we'll actually have to go into our file manager on Windows. On Mac it'll be a little bit different. I do not have a video for the Mac installment of this mods, but I'm sure you'll still get something out of this video. So for Windows users, you'll have to go into %appdata, and then /minecraft/versions. Now I'm also gonna have a copy of this text down in the video description, so you can find it there and just paste it here. Now once you've done that, you can do enter to go to that folder. You can see inside of this folder are all the versions that you've run your game with. In particular, there's this 1.13.2 version that you will have to look for, and just copy it and paste it to create a new version with which we will install our mod on. So we will call this mod game speed, just like so. And just make sure you copy this name so you can actually use it for other files too, because you will have to rename these two. You can do that by pressing F2 and Control V after you've copied the name, just like so. Now, to be able to actually run the game, we'll have to go into this JSON file here. You can do that by right-clicking on it and saying Open With. You can open it with Notepad or any any other text editor, maybe even Notepad++, which you can download, or Visual Studio Code. Those are two very good options. Now, if you don't actually want to go through that process of creating this JSON file, I'll also leave a download for that in the video description, so you can just download it from there and replace this file with that. Of course, it'll have to have the exact same name as I've typed here, if you're going to do that. Anyway, this in here looks very messy, and you'll not be able to read it. So for that reason, I'm just going to Control-A, Control-C, just to select it all and copy it. And you'll be able to go online here to this JSON validator and formatter, and we can just type in the JSON file that we copied here and process it. And yeah, after that you can see it looks a lot different. We can just copy it and paste it into our file. This is actually the exact same JSON file, except it looks a lot better. Now, we will have to look for a place where it says 1.13.2, so we can do that by searching 1.13.2 and just look for it. There you go. So it'll have to say this ID 1.13.2, so you'll have to look for this. Now, this is actually the name of the jar file, so we'll have to rename this to mod game speed. This is basically the same name as we had for the jar file in here, as you can see right there. And once you've done that, you'll also need to remove this section of the JSON file here. This is basically what tells the game that it has to re-download the jar file if something's wrong with it. And since we are installing a mod on it, it's not going to look the same as what Mojang wants it to look like. So we'll just have to delete this section, and there you go. Now, you will actually be able to run this version without any problems. However, we've not yet installed our mod on it. So to install the mod, you'll have to right-click on this jar file and open it with WinRAR or any other zip archiver, if you have 7-zip or something like that. And you'll have to delete a few files in here. So this is actually all the files that run the game, and we will have to delete this meta-inf folder here. This is basically metadata for the jar file. It's not actually used to run the game or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. There you go. And once we've done that, we just open this file here that we have on the desktop that you downloaded from the video description. And with the jar file here on the left, we have to select all the files inside of this mod and just transfer them into the jar file and just press OK. Yes, that should be it. So once you've done that, you'll be able to close all these windows out and open the launcher. Now, you'll not yet see a launch configuration for the mod here. To be able to do that, we'll have to go into launch options, add new, and then type in the name of the launch option. I'm going to call it GameSpeed Mod. And then we can go in here, go all the way down here to the new release that we've just made, 1.13.2 mod game speed. You saw that wasn't here before, now it is. Let's just actually name it 1.13.2. There you go. And once you've done that, it should look pretty much like this. You can save it. And you can just go into the news and select it and press play. Okay, so once the game has started, as you can see here, the main menu should look a little bit like this, or actually pretty much exactly like this, except maybe the version number is a little bit different. And you should be able to go onto any server or any single player world and use the mod. If the mod, however, is not installed on the server that you're currently on, you'll only be able to change the TPS on the clients. But of course, in single player, the server will always be compatible. That's a thing to keep in mind. So you'll always be able to change TPS on your single player worlds. So if you just test it out here. There you go. So the mod is installed correctly, and it should also close. There you go. So that is how to install the mod on your 1.13.2 clients. It should also work for other versions if I decide to update the mod. But yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I will try my best to answer them all. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for installing my mod and I hope it all works for you. Okay, so for the more advanced players, you may want to install this mod on a server. And for that, you will probably want to know how to install it onto a dedicated Minecraft server. So, first of all, this is not by any means going to be a how to run a Minecraft server tutorial. I'm going to show you how to install it, and I'm going to expect you to have some knowledge of how servers work. So yeah, let's get started. First things first, you want to download the server version of the mod, which is this right here. You'll have all the same files as, well, not all of them, but you'll have a little bit less files than in the client version of the mod. And also you'll have to download the server from minecraft.net. You can do that on this web page right here. There's a download right here. There's also a little tutorial on how to run the server. We may as well just copy that, because we may need it. So, first of all, let's just actually run the server. So we can do that by just creating new, called run, open it, paste in that, save as, and we'll just do .bat. .bat is basically a runnable script. And there you go. So now if we double click this, it will not work because they changed the name. So there will have to be change the name here, server.jar. There you go. Now it should be able to run, which you can see it does right here. So first step is to just get the server to run, and then after that we can install the mod. And now you can see the mod is starting, it's creating all the files that we need, and preparing the spawn area. The first time it's gonna take a bit longer, but it is done. Okay, let's just for now just OP ourselves. There you go. Now we can stop the server. There you go. So now that we have the server running, we want to open the mod files. And once we've opened the mod files, this is a lot like installing it on the clients. So all we really need to do is drag these in here. You don't actually have to delete the meta-inf on the server. So yeah, just don't do that. There you go. That is everything you need to do. So once you've done that, you can just double click this around here. And let's see if that works. There you go. Yes. And we can just start Minecraft here and just try to join the server. And there you go. So the mod will, well, the server version of the mod will tell you that there's a compatible version of G4mespeed detected on the clients if you have that mod installed. Now if you don't have the mod installed, it will not change the version on that client. It will simply, you know, you can still join the world, but it won't change it on the client. It'll only change it to server side when other players change it. Of course, even the ones that don't have the mod installed will still be able to set the TPS like this, but they won't be able to use the keyboard shortcuts, and they won't be able to experience the full functionality of the mod. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, thanks for watching.